Okay, well, I don't know how good a recording this is going to be. Well, what we're doing here is we've got the cushions out of the Fisher 30. Fisher 30 been sitting for 25 years and everything inside it just got really dirty. So we took the cushions out and we took the foam inserts out of the cushion covers and we washed the cushion covers at the laundromat. Marked every one of these cushion inserts with a number, and we marked the top and where the zipper is located, because these things have beveled edges. They're not all rectangular like this one. Lots of them are irregular shapes, trapezoids, triangles, whatnot. We marked the inside of the covers as well so that we could put these things back together. Now these things went through the laundromat twice and were dried fairly well in a dryer and then brought home and hung on the line to finally sun dry, and then they've been in the heated shop for a while. I'm just clipping off threads that are inside here that are loose. Some of these are really high quality covers, and if you're going to build your own cushions you might want to look at some of the details. This is foam wrapped in Dacron, like Thinsulite you find in jackets and sleeping bags. So the Thinsulite makes it breathe some and gives you an initial softer touch than the foam. Foam will absorb all the sweat from your body and just be miserable, so this helps with that. Then Fisher, in their infinite wisdom, this thing was built in 1973 when they still did things well. They put another layer of barrier on the top side surface of these. This one seems to be, it's actually a rubber or plastic with felt on both sides of it. Very interesting material. Looks like this has gotten ripped at some point and somebody tried to fix it with masking tape, so we'll just get rid of that. What I'm trying to do right now is make sure that there's no threads that will get caught on these zippers. These are really nice zippers. Trying to read the label on them, but I can't. Oh, it is. It's a YKK, and I believe it's white nylon. They are YKK zippers. So 1973 to 2017, what is that? 73, 83, 93, 2003, 2013, there's 40 years plus 4, 44 years old, and these zippers are still really nice. So I used a laundry marker to mark the insides of the covers and also the cushions, and that went through the laundry just fine and came out the other side. Otherwise we would have a puzzle of gigantic proportions to try to deal with to get the right cushion back in the right cover and with the right orientation. So that's what we did, and it's worked out. Now, even though the covers themselves were filthy, because they had this rubberized barrier on the top surface, the dirt didn't get through to the cushions. So the cushions were, for the most part, extremely nice. There were a couple of little mildew spots on a couple of cushions, and what I've done is I'm vacuuming each of these cushions lightly before I put it back together. On the ones that had a couple of mildew spots, I shot it with a little of this stuff, And when you look at the ingredients in most of the mildew killers and removers and sanitizing sprays, including Lysol, they have the same active ingredient in all of them, which is, if you're a chemist, oh dear, I can't read it well enough. It's a whole bunch of different isomers of ammonium chloride, amyl butyl ammonium chloride, you know, so they have to, so anyway, and this is like 0.75%. If you look at Lysol, it's like 0.2%. So what the heck? And the 409 is like $3 or $4 a bottle, and the Lysol is like $8. So there you go. I found another product which I'm trying. This is a byproduct of the shells of crabs. They take the chitin and they turn it into something they call chitosan, which is supposed to be a mold and mildew inhibitor. It makes a film that the mold and mildew can't grow on. Thank you, Mr. Crab. So what I did is sprayed a thin film of this on the surface of the cushions before I put them in here. Cheap insurance. Who knows if it works? But not going to hurt anything. The stuff has no smell, not toxic. If you know what the chitin of crab shells are, is calcium carbonate or something. So not going to hurt you. Now the trick is to get these things back into the cushion covers, and it is really hard. This video might go on for 10 or 15 minutes with me struggling to get this thing in. This is a square one. This doesn't seem to have beveled edges, so that'll make it a little easier. It's really tough to get these things in. You got to get the corners and the back jammed all the way in the back of the cushion, and then by the time you can see that these things are tight fit in there. There's the size of the cushion, there's the size of the cover. So you know that that thing is jammed and compressed in there, and it is a bitch. It's a bear to get these things together, but watch me struggle. Here we go. Now, one of the tricks that I learned getting these things apart is to kind of fold them up in the middle a little bit, like a taco, so you can get them in. But then once you've done that, you have to unfold them while they're in the cover, and it ain't easy. None of this is easy. So it's kind of like putting a condom on an elephant, I guess. You know, a wild animal vet, you can ask them about that. I don't. So this is just the first of what probably will be 1,000 cautionary tales if you decide you're going to buy a neglected sailboat and bring it back to life. You better be ready for about 1,000 different things that are like this. If you're rich, I guess you can pay somebody to do it, but if you were rich, you wouldn't have been buying a project sailboat in the first place. You went down the garden path saying, well, think of all the money I can save if I do it myself. Well, this is what that process looks like. And if you're like me, 70 years old, and not in fabulous health anymore, or even good health. This can get old pretty damn fast. But anyway, this is a learning experience. I certainly didn't think I knew anything about cushions when I started this, and now I know I don't. Somebody, hopefully, who does this for a living will see this video and say, oh, here's another one of these yo-yos who's made a video showing how to do something while he's learning how to do it for the first time. And I have a lot of trouble with those videos because what they usually are doing is showing you how to do something wrong. And I'm probably doing that right now and don't know it. You know, the old saying is you don't know what you don't know. And ain't it the truth? At some point, you really need a lot of strength to do this and feel like you're really brutalizing the son of a bitch, and maybe you are. But it's what has to be done. Now, of the many things that I didn't know was what material were these covers made of. I had no idea. No idea what was safe to wash them with. Had no idea what temperature was safe to wash them, but I knew they were heavy duty as hell, and they hadn't rotted or anything else after 44 years. The only one that's gone bad, the one that was in the sun in the pilot house of the Fisher. And that one is threadbare. The sun is just literally hurt the fabric, destroyed the fabric, made it weak. All these cushions were vacuumed rather ruthlessly with a shop vac, and talking about an industrial one, you know, biggest ass shop vac you can get from Sears. And I went after these covers mercilessly to get the dirt off them just before I could wash them even. So that did not hurt any of them except the one, and we're talking about a lot of abrasion, a lot of suction, just mercilessly going at it with a hard, kind of almost a sharp vacuum tool. Now here's the problem. It's probably not made any better because I dampened these a little bit with that crab extract. Is making sure that this is really down in those corners as far as it can go. So I've done one of these cushions already. Let me pull it out and look at it. I've only stuffed one of them. Oh, it's not here. I got it in the clean room. But anyway, took me, oh golly, what? As long as this did, 20 minutes longer, I guess. It was an irregular shaped one, and also the first one. This one's going a little faster. But with it, I got to this point where the stuffing is sticking 3 or 4 inches out of the mouth of the cushion. Now you ask yourself, well, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to reach in there, you're going to grab the cushion in one hand and grab the cover in the other and just with all your strength, try to move that cushion to the far extremity of the cover so that you have as little of it sticking out as possible. It's gonna stick out. No matter what you do, it's gonna stick out because these are really overstuffed. They're pretty damn nice, but man, they put a quart in a pint pot when they made these things. And of course they made a lot of them. These were done on contract, I'm sure, for Fairways Marine to for all of these boats, and there's, I don't know, 130 or 170 like mine, and I got a feeling the cushions in the 25s and the 32s are probably not really much different. So now the question is, here we are, we've got this thing sticking out like this, and this hollow fill Dacron stuff will get in the zipper, will jam it up, and if you persist, you can ruin the zipper. So the question is, how do you do this? And the answer is, very carefully, and inch by inch. I hope this is showing up. You got to shove it back in there and physically pull the material down so you're not using the zipper to close that gap up. You've taken the tension off with your hand and you're working it down. A couple inches at a time. Get back here, push the stuff in. Got to use your thumb or your finger. Make sure that the hollow fill is not getting in between the teeth of the zipper. If you ruin one of these zippers, then you got a real problem. The problem, you don't want to go there, because what are the chances they're going to get this thing really sized right when they put a new zipper in? And you don't get a real pro to do it. They'll ruin the cover, and then you got to build a new cover from scratch, and then you got more trouble in River City. So here we are. I'm literally doing 2 inches at a time, and I'm shoving the hollow fill in and compressing it, the rubber, all of it. I'm making sure the zipper is free. I'm pulling the fabric down to take the tension off the zipper, and I'm moving 2 inches, and I'm going on down the line. It's just like the old blues song, I'm gonna move on down the line. So there we go. A little bit of facing or something is part of that vapor barrier in there. Tuck that in. You get some of the hollow fill in your zipper. Back the zipper off. Pull the shit out. Make sure it's free. Don't just keep pulling. If you jam that in there, you will be a very unhappy camper. I can't imagine what it would cost to build new sets of cushions of this quality and really custom formed like this, but it's got to be thousands of dollars if you go to somebody who's really a pro. If you want second rate, I guess you can go to somebody who does patio covers or something. Covers for speedboats if you want third rate but new. And you don't want to spend a lot of money, then you're going to take these apart and use them for patterns and build your own. I was lucky in that this stuff was really in nice shape other than being dirty. And at the beginning, I had the fantasy that, oh, well, I'll just have some new covers made. Once I started taking them apart and realized how complex they were, and what it went into making really good ones. I got to turn this around here. I just realized that not not in the budget, and B, who you're going to call. You really have to go to somebody who has some real bona fide credentials. Now, more hard work, and that's just massaging this cushion into the cover so that you're not seeing unfilled spaces, you're not seeing a lot of wrinkles in the cover. I say wrinkles in the cover are indicative of a cushion that's not properly in place in the cover. With minor exceptions, I think that these have done really well. And I guess at a certain point it's like that British comedy, Are You Being Served, where the guy sells the guy the pair of shorts that don't fit and say, well, they'll ride up with wear. I guess the final bit of business with these will be putting them in place and using them, and using the captain's ass for the final fitting. So anyway, there we go. Pretty well done. I'm not sure that it's perfect. You can see here that this has a beveled edge where it fits up against the hull, I believe. And that's part of the genius of the design of these boats, and one of the reasons that, in my humble opinion, the Fishers are several cuts above, you know, California built yachts from the 70s, although there are certainly some good ones made then too. So that's it.